guys, welcome back to CJ's Keto Kitchen. Well, it's the end of December and it's cold and rainy outside, like it often is in the Pacific Northwest. And so I feel like having something warm and cozy. So tonight we're going to be making a very easy chili, and it's going to be Pork Verde chili, which is a green pork chili. So come along and let's get started. So Pork Verde is a very traditional Latin dish, and it incorporates things like jalapeños and green chili. And it's mostly green or white, so I'm keeping that color scheme going on in there. But it's very easy because we're going to be using already prepared meat. So this would be ideal if you have leftover pork, pork chops, rotisserie chicken, anything like that. It's going to make this even extra speedy, and that's what we want on a cold winter's night. This would also work for those in your family who are not ketogenic, because this could be served over rice or with corn chips or cornbread and made into a meal with carbs for those family members who aren't practicing keto. So let's go ahead and get started. So to start our chili, I am melting about 2 tablespoons of butter into my Dutch oven. You just need a pan large enough that you would create a chili in, so it needs to be a Dutch oven or something of this size. If you want to use a skillet, you can, but it's going to have a deep lip. So to our melting butter, I'm going to add 1/4 cup of diced green onion. And it's a very tiny chunk of, I'm sorry, it's not green onion, it's green pepper. I apologize. It is a very tiny chunk of green pepper. You could, of course, use an entire green pepper if you wanted to, but pepper can be fairly carby, so I try and cut very, very small chunks of just a very tiny sliver of green pepper. You could use a different color besides green, but because this is a Pork Verde green pork chili, I want to try and keep everything as green and white as possible to make it look really aesthetically pleasing. So, but it's up to you. I am using green pepper, and that's about 1/4 cup. I'm also going to use 1/4 cup of diced white onion. You could use a different type of onion if you prefer. And that is also diced very, very small. And we're going to let these kind of soften and saute in our butter. So you just want these to get a little softened in the butter. And to this, I'm going to be adding our pork. And I am going to be adding a pre-cooked pulled pork. Lots of grocery store shelves have these now. I found this one at Walmart, and it's with the rest of the lunch meat. And it's just simply pulled pork. It's uncured, it doesn't have any nitrates in it, and it has 0 carbs. And this is 1 pound. Now you could, of course, use a pork roast that you are needing to use up. You could use a rotisserie chicken. It wouldn't have to be pork. I'm just choosing to use a pork product. Now it comes in a shrink wrapped package like this, so it's all, you know, suctioned together. So we're going to put it in our pan and we're going to break it up. So we have a nice meat log here. I'm going to crumble it into the pan. And it's just simply shredded pork. That's all it is. It doesn't have any flavorings or sauces or anything in it, so it's just perfect for what we want to do. And like I said, if you have pork roast that you need to use up, I like making pork roasts in my crock pot. It would be very good for that too. Even if you had some shredded pork chop that you wanted to use up for this dish, that would be ideal as well. But like I said, you could also use chicken if you'd rather use chicken. Rotisserie chicken would be ideal in this dish because it would also be easy. So I'm just going to warm that in our green pepper and onion, and I'm just going to kind of let that heat up a bit before we add the rest of our ingredients. So at this point we have a very bland product, like I said, because it's just simply pulled pork. I want to add some spices to this to bring out the flavor in our chili. And so the spices that I'm going to be using today are some garlic powder, and you could use raw fresh garlic in this if you preferred. I'm also going to be using some ground cumin because that's going to give us a really authentic Latin flavor. I'm also going to add some oregano because it's going to give us some really nice bright flavors in this, and it's also green, so it's going to be keeping with our green theme here. I'm going to add just a touch more cumin because I really like it. And then I'm also going to add a little bit of salt because we don't have any salt in this. I'm just going to stir this around. Okay, now I'm going to add green chilies. And I'm going to put in 7 ounces, and they're already diced, and I'm going to put the liquid in as well. If you wanted a smaller amount of green chilies, you could absolutely do this, but I really like green chilies, so I'm going to use 7 ounces. I am also going to be putting in some salsa verde. So this is just green salsa, and I'm going to be using a canned product. You can use green salsa in a jar, whatever you like. And I'm just going to pour that right in. Okay, so we have our green goodness. Now for CJ and I'm going to put in just a few diced jalapenos. If you don't like it spicy, if that's not your thing, then you can totally omit this. I'm just going to put in a few just to give it a tiny zing. So that was probably like 1 jalapeno diced. So that went in. Now we need to add our liquid to get it to our chili consistency. So I am going to be adding about 1.5 cups of chicken stock, which is basically 1 can of chicken stock if you are using a can of chicken stock. Then I'm going to bring this up to a boil and get it simmering so all of our flavors can meld together before we add our dairy to make this into a chili. If you did not want to add dairy, you could absolutely just go ahead and stop here and heat it up and let it simmer for a little while. And that would be totally fine if you don't do dairy. This would also be just fine without the dairy. But I'm going to add a little bit of dairy after we simmer this for a minute or two. I'm going to put the lid on so that it can come to a simmer. Okay, so we've got a nice simmer going. And now I'm going to add our dairy. And so I would like to add 4 ounces of softened cream cheese, and you need this to be soft enough to incorporate it into your simmering broth. And mine's quite soft, which is just what we want. And I'm just going to whisk that in with a silent whisk, I might add. And then also to this, I'm going to add 1/4 cup of cream. Okay. Now I'm just going to turn this down and let it simmer for a little bit. And that's all there is to it. And then we'll be able to serve it. Now, if you are in a family of non-ketoers, you could absolutely serve this chili over corn chips or rice. So this would be good for everyone, not just for ketogenic people. Okay, so I'm going to turn this down, get the pork out of my whisk, and let it simmer. Okay, it's ready to serve. I'm gonna dish it up, and then CJ's gonna have a taste. Hi, CJ.
Hi.
How are you today?
I'm good. Had a long day at work, but I'm good.
But it's Friday.
Yeah.
Yay. Yay, Friday. So I made you something nice and spicy and warm. And it is pork verde chili. So it is a spicy green pork chili.
Okay.
And I have doctored yours up with a little bit of chopped cilantro and some avocado and a little bit of Monterey Jack cheese.
Okay. It smells good. That's really good. Really flavorful. Lots of, I don't know what to call it, but it's got a good flavor to it.
Lots of green. It has lots of green.
Yeah, but green is not a flavor, so.
It can be.
Okay. It's very flavorful, and it's good. So I think people will like it, and it's easy to make.
Yes, it was very easy.
Yeah.
It'd be really nice for weeknights.
Yeah. So, yep, I think it's a good hit. I think it'll be a hit.
Good.
Good job, baby. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thanks for joining us again tonight, you guys. We hope that you enjoy the chili and that you can stay nice and warm on this cold winter's night. Please consider subscribing and hitting the notification bell so that you will be notified when we upload new content. We do upload twice a week. On Wednesdays, we have Keto Conversations, and that's where we get together and talk about ketogenic topics. And then on Sundays is when we release our recipes. So we don't want you to miss out on that. We're also on social media. Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and that's CJ's Keto Kitchen. And please visit our blog, that's cjsketokitchen.com. That has all the recipes, which are printable. It also has all the macros, and it has other recipe ideas and other information that can help you out on this lifestyle. So we'll see you next time, and thanks for watching. Bye.